You are there.
Okay, so today is very interesting subject, and I'm very grateful to Pavel Piscarev because it's only few people who really shows how to work with time. So today is like very big agenda to make a plan for the whole month. And if you want to work with 2 months, you can do it. I did for 2 months, and it's really made such progress in my life when I did this exercise first time in November. So I offering you to do like plan for 1 month and see how it will be playing. So, and at the end of the class, I want to show you something very easy, very simple exercise about time that I learned from the healing modality called Kolaimni. And if you want, I will share it with you because I use it not all the time, but sometimes when I'm running late for very important meetings, and I'm usually very punctual, but it's really could be helpful for you. Just remind me because when I'm in process, I can forget. So before we go, I want to talk a little bit about time, what time means to us. There is a different types of time. There is a chronological time, and there is our perception of time. There is a quantity of time and quality of time. There is a different understanding. There are different meanings for time. In Greek mythology, there was two gods that represented time, and one was Kronos, that we usually associate with planet Saturn, and it's a very ruthless deity that really keeps very strict, that you need to work hard to be on time. It's divided in even segments, so you can measure it in years, in days, in seconds. So it's up to you, but it's always equally 1 second is equal to another second. So there is no difference in Kronos. The quantity, this is really representing quantity of time. Another deity that was called Kairos, his brother, was representing opportunity. This is like really the quality of time to be at the right place at the right time and use this opportunity. He was presented as a very beautiful and very young god. He's the youngest son of Zeus. And the representation of this god is really about opportunity is always young and it's always beautiful. So it's really cannot be underestimate. So it's like really how we can recognize when is the time of opportunity and use it. Can we invite more opportunities in our life? Especially at this time, it's like many people are scared right now. There is so many changes is going on. I really try to encourage you to use this time as an opportunity to do something new, something that you would delay all your life or maybe did not have enough time. Learn something, experience something, read a book that is on your shelf for years, or maybe just give a call to the person that you wanted to talk for years and always did not find the good reason. It's like really what kind of other opportunity do you expecting or do you waiting for? So today we will see how we will play with our time and with our perception of time. We will use both gods on our drawing, and we will really integrate them both in our perception, in our reality. So today we are going to draw the plan for this month. Today is May 1st. It's actually, how they pronounce it, Walpurgi night, when all witches get together and dance naked around the fire. It's like, it's interesting time. So we skip some of the agenda about witches, but we will definitely do some changes in our reality. So I'll switch the camera and we'll see how it works. Okay. So this was my drawings about my time, and I will tell you the story how it's really changed. This was done in beginning of November. I knew that the December will be busy, but November there did not really expected many things to happen. And I just played with this and created in my imagination, in my reality, the event that really could blow my mind. I did not know what it's going to be. I just knew that it will be big and it will be powerful and very harmonious because it's a circle. So for me, it was enough to invite in my life the event. And the drawing was done, it was set aside and nothing really starts happening. But by the end of the month, I was invited to teach my first class of Neurographica in a Children's Correction Center. So it really blew my mind. So, and it was like really huge experience for me. So you don't have to know what you are planning. You just create an intention to invite something in your life that can be powerful and that will really nurture your abilities and nurture your desires. So your life, it really will be an opportunity to grow. Okay, so this is my drawing, but we'll see how much we are going to do in May. So I invite you to do 2 minutes exercise. And today, instead of associations related to time, I want you to write down the list of things or maybe chores that you want to do them in May, or maybe just want to do in general and never really had an opportunity to do them. So it's just 2 minutes and you write down what you want to do. It will be, come on, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I need a pen. Again, it's a list of chores that, or maybe things that need to be done, and you wish to make them done in May. If they're coming and like you did not, if something is coming that you did not plan for May, but it's wants to be on May, let it go. Like just express them on paper. Maybe it's time to make them. Okay, are you ready? 2 minutes. Plan. Let's go. I have 30 seconds left. Okay. 2 minutes done. So how many you have? I have 12. I actually expected more, but 12 somehow show up. So how many do you have?
I have 22, Diana.
22 is like quite a list.
Wow. I know. Sometimes
Okay.
it's 30, but yeah.
Okay.
I have 11.
Okay, 11, good.
I had a bunch that repeated.
Really? So maybe something is really need to be done.
Yeah.
Or maybe it should be like in your routine, something that really should be repeated just. Okay.
I had 13.
Okay, so usually 11, 13, and 22, yes? It's quite a list. Okay, so next, what we are going to do. So
I have 12, sorry.
how many?
12.
Good, so 12, 12 as well. So we'll see. And we don't really need to reduce our list, like we don't really need to subtract anything. But what I want you to, before we go, I want to create a timeline, the Kronos timeline from May 1st, some here, 1, 2, here, and 31st here, so 1 month. And it will be like we just divide about 4 weeks, just for me, for guidance. You can do this guidance lines or not, it's up to you. So here is about 15th. Okay. And so this is our Kronos. If we are going to squeeze in all our chores, it will be
What are those vertical lines? I'm sorry to interrupt. What are they?
vertical lines just representing weeks. It's a 4 weeks.
Okay.
So
4 weeks.
like I'm starting from first, like it's estimating. Like,
I see.
so I don't want to be the precise really. So just for me, for guidance. So this is May 15th, this is 31st, and life is gone. So next step, what we are going to do, if we want to, on our Kronos line, I want you to find the time and chores that you want to do. Like just estimate where you want it to be. So some of the events that I put on my list, like cannot be moved to another date. So for example, on about May 20th is my son's birthday. He is turning 20. So another that I cannot really move is right after his birthday, there will be some conference that I'm participating. So it's, I think it will be, let me see on the calendar. It will be May 23rd and 24th. So it will be here, 23rd and 23rd, 24th. 2 events here. And the rest I actually can be just find the place anywhere. So I want to, okay, so for some reason I have on my list that I need to pass the test about astrology that I delay for forever. Okay, so it will be somewhere here, astrology. Did not expect it here. Okay, so on the week of 15th here, I'm going to be 15, this week. I am supervisor at institute. It's my week. And conference. And I have, every week I have at least 4 classes to teach. Okay, so this will be repeating ones. So beside them. And I can just present them like a big circle, actually. I don't really need to divide them. This is like a little bit ugly plan for me. And it's already, I feel like squeezed. And I need to make some changes on my site. And I will put it here. And
So you're just putting down stuff that is
yes,
more
just like what's on my list. Yeah, everything that is on my list, like what I was planning to do. Like everything that you have, I want you to be on this line from this list. So just find the chronological time. It's just for you to see. And see, like, it could be squeezed, but it's just.
It has to be related to your professional skill or cleaning house, mow the grass, and stuff like that.
Everything should be there. So it's like you still need time to do those chores. It really does not matter about professional. It just there is no house cleaning on my list for some reason.
Yeah, exercise. I don't know. Met a friend, bake something in your family, like.
Yeah, maybe I just need to make one more point. Okay, so I'm looking, and I need very soon to do something that my mom asked, and I need to do short. And this one will be, I need to make some short videos about Neurographica that I want to upload on YouTube channel. Okay, so I think I'm already enough. There are some others, maybe here one more. And
spend time with your husband.
One more time.
Spend time with your husband.
Night.
Okay.
It's dedicated to him. Okay, so next. So I know that if I will just looking at this plan, I feel a little bit squeezed. I feel like there is no room to breathe much, and there is so much to do. And I'm like getting not overwhelmed, but I know how it will be tiring. So my next step is to invite another god. So this we worked with Kronos. Now I want to invite Kairos and change the quality of time, change my perception of time. And wherever I see that there is a lot to do, like for example, in me, in this time is really, I need some room to breathe. And just look how I'm going to do. So I'm going to change my perception of time. And I'm going to invite the neuroline that will be really give me the curve. You see that in Kronos, I have only so much time. In the perception of Kairos, or my perception of time, it's much longer. Like if this would be just a thread, I would just like at least 150% more in my perception. And this is maybe even 3 times more. And this is going to almost to exponent, and it's like endless time for me. So create your timeline that will be enough for everything that you already placed on the timeline. Just create it. Neuroline, it's always neuroline that really gives you enough space to breathe. You could be very generous. You can go very big hills, and it really does not just follow. Maybe it will be more than you expecting. Be generous with you. Have you created? And now, when I have enough space, I start placing those events in shape that I want, or in shape that I feel they represent on my timeline. For example, the most important for me is the birthday of my son. And I create a circle. I want it to be, and I just feel how big this event, like emotionally big, will be for me. Okay, I think this will be enough. So the size, you start deciding what representing emotional involvement, energetical involvement in this event. Okay, so first I found and conference. Let's see. So conference will be here, and I'm listening to my body, like really how much it wants to be. Okay, and if it does not want to grow more, I just let it be. It means enough. Okay, what I want, another stuff. I wanted, interesting, for some reason I want to, and I can make check marks, conference will be like one event. Astrology test, like really, I did not think that astrology test is important for me this month. I'm like, was so glad that I can delay it as much as I can. Interesting. And it's, maybe I will really have time for it. Okay, it's quite emotional involvement in test. Something new to learn. Okay, so this segment I'm almost done. Oh, one more time. One thing that needs to be done, my regular classes, and regular classes could be here. Interesting, my regular classes really don't require so much time and energy anymore. Maybe I'm just like used to it. Okay, so I want to do some regular classes here. And because I'm repeating them every week, so they will be shown up every week. And they will be here. And it's really, like every week is different because subjects will be different. So some of them will be emotional, some of them will require more preparation, some of them doesn't require so much preparation. Or maybe I'm just sometimes too lazy, which is okay too. Okay, so this week will be quite a big class. And I don't know yet what it's going to be. So I can already say that about even just looking at my regular classes, I can see that this week is emotional. And this is what we are going to do and once they repeat it. And the third week of May will be emotional. The second and fourth are not so much. Okay, so what will be here? I need to make some short videos for YouTube. I delayed this already, procrastinated it so much. You see, because I have this curve, I have much more room to breathe. Even I have many events, I still have enough to place. And if you don't have enough, you can extend it. You really can make it longer. For example, you can make it even longer. For example, here. And if I have right now so much place and time, I want something significant here. And I'm doing circles, but if you feel like you want to do something different, like any other shapes, you can do it. This really, it will have different qualities compared to circles. If you want, you can do triangles, you can do squares, you can make a star if you want something that really will make your event bright and memorable for you. So it's like really, but you can do circles at the beginning and we can add some qualities later. So for some reason, I feel like this here.
Anna, the
Yes?
one that you're doing, the one that you're doing now, and the last one you did when you were like extending and giving yourself more space. Are these ones now events that you don't know what they are, but you just are feeling like there should be something there?
So this, I don't know what this will be, but I feel like it belongs here. So I just can create enough big circle, and I feel that it will be something big. And again, it may not take a lot of time, but it may gives you big emotional involvement, something that really gives you wow effect. So this is an opportunity to do something big, and I will recognize this opportunity. And I can expect that it will be around May 12th.
I have a question.
Yes.
Most of my things are things that I'm going to do over the month. They're like a book I want to read. There's some yoga poses I'm going to be working on and things like that. They don't have the things that don't have dates associated with them. How do I represent those?
So if you don't have exact date when you want to start to read a book, just place it somewhere. So this chore that wants to be on timeline because you want to dedicate your time for the event, for the things that like for the reading.
Okay.
Just place it somewhere. You can even put it like write it down that it's a book, or maybe it's a cleaning or something that needs to be else. And what else? I still Interesting. Even with extended time, I don't really have much choice. Like I want something here. And if you have a space, I'm not a very good example because I'm like, wherever I have time, I use it 100%. But if you want to be calmer months, if you want to have just time to meditate, to be in nature, you can put it as well here or just leave a little bit more gap between events. So it's up to you. And I see that I have a lot of here space that interesting. Like this is just like to fill the gap and it's making everything moving and it's keep growing. And I don't even know what it is. So I will be very open for any opportunity to really use my time. Like if I have any minutes available, I will look what can be done there. Maybe I will learn something new at that time. Interesting. And something wants to be here and it could be big and it can be just recognized with a circle, but not completely circle, just go ahead. And it looks like, actually it looks like an egg with oak inside. Oak. Okay. Now, next step. It's quite a busy timeline. There are some 2 big events, very big events, one medium and few smaller ones. So it's my decision really the quality of event. How do I want to be? I want everything be peaceful and joyful and harmonious, or I want some action involved. So if I want something that really activates my drive, my action, my leadership, I can change the circle in the shape of a triangle. So for example, I want triangle here. I don't know why, but I want. Triangle will require some conflict, but it's a shape that representing leadership. Leadership cannot be always harmonious. It's only people who can take responsibility for changing, for standing for what they want, can be leaders. So I'm putting my triangle here. So square represents stability, or maybe working something with your money, with your house, something that you take care of your house could be square. But look and trust, what kind of shape do you want? Maybe it's even not really traditional shape, not even a circle, or it could be some unusual shape, or maybe it may be a star. So I don't know what this event is. I just created it because I extended my timeline. So I don't know what it's gonna be, but I can create a shape that will be star, and I want this event really be bright. It will be spiky, but I will harmonize it in some time to make sure that it will be organically integrated with my reality. I don't want it to be like really conflict, but I want it to be expanding my horizons. I want it to be
What does the star represent?
Star is, if you want some of these events be memorable for you, something that really blow your mind, be very careful with it.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to show you as an example what it can be, but it's not necessary that you need to create a star on your timeline. If you want it to be calmer months, don't do stars. Stars contains many triangles. So it will be so much activity required from me that can be exhausting, but it's for some reason I want it. Again, there will be an opportunity for me to be active and take a chance to be involved in event that can change my perception of May. Okay, so I don't want any other sharp because star is already a little bit overwhelming, and triangle requires actions as well. So next I will leave as circles. Next step, we have to round all these corners, and if we have sharp angles, I highly recommend you just create a narrow line from the angle, so it will be not as aggressive. It does not look aggressive. So, and it will be connected to everything else. Okay.
I'm sorry, what is that line?
This is a line from the sharp corners of sharp shapes.
Okay.
Like if you have only circles, you don't need to do it. But with circles, we do different. We still like, they look, for example, on mine, they look too circle. They look too artificial. So I want to have this bio effect on them. So I go with narrow line around them and round like make them look alive. I want to make them how to say organic. I want to look them as a seed or some natural element. So it will be safer for me and for my subconscious mind to recognize them. So when I have many, many lines like this, I really don't need to round each small corners. I can even make them smaller, so they will look more consistent. And if I want to round big one, I can do it as well. So it will be a nice difference between teeny skinny lines and maybe segments of round circles or ovals. And now I'm going to round all the corners that, for example, like the sharpest object on my is a star. So I going to round and go with narrow line and just create it organic flow. Like this is like roots work growing around some metal structure. So I wanted everything be nice and smooth and look alive. Does it make sense to you? That we are going to give an opportunity to everything to look alive, look natural and safe. We need to create this effect of nature, like plants are growing around our garden, around our any frame. And I'm just making it. And when I have many lines, I can even add more shading, so they will look united. I want them to look united. This is one of the goals that I have. Okay. This is how my sharp star starts looking. It looks not as sharp anymore. And it's actually expanding. It's not just makes everything bigger, but it's allows me to reach to other people as well. So all this line that you are extending is reaching to somewhere or somebody. You really expanding your horizons. And if you want to learn something, you need expand them. I hope it's not too complicated.
No.
Good. Did you had a chance to put everything that was on your list, or maybe you decided that something does not want to be there? In some chores, you can just represent as a one element, actually. Interesting. This one has a heart inside. This has a... Okay. So pay attention. How's your body reacting? Do you feel difference? Did anything shifted? Do you feel overwhelmed with all your events, or is it calmer for you when you have perception that everything has the time? Does anything changed? Really, this star is really attracting my attention now. Mm. Whew. I'm like really taking deep breath and breathe out. It's so much air starts moving in my lungs. And I still feel a little bit overwhelmed, but I'm sure that when I round all corners, because like I'm overwhelmed not by how big events are, but how much corners I need to round, how much actions I need to do. It's like it's a lot of work. So I'm working and I see, recognize this work in my body. And with fine motor skills, I'm really allow myself to live and move with my desire to be busy this month. I don't know, like so many people complain that during the distant isolation, they have so the life is so boring. They cannot go anywhere. They like really feel isolated. I'm busy and I love it that I'm like really don't need to be that because I initiate many events and it really helps me to grow myself, to grow my business, and at the same time to support my community. I feel I have a purpose to do, not like a mission. I'm really not a missioner, but I feel like there is a mutual support, like that I need to teach as much as people need to hear it, only as much. Okay. So I think that like, because I did not really know what it is, the star that evolved in star, it's need to be harmonized as much as possible because I'm really don't want to be any unpleasant surprises. So I want everything be nice and beautiful. Now the star is done. You see how everything looks different now when there is much less corners and there is so many opportunities to reach to other people. It's really amazing how it can be different. Now, for some reason, this event really brings my attention as well. You will be surprised, like just play with this, like touch them. They even have different texture, all of them. Like I use a Sharpie and I still feel the texture of each shape that I created on my timeline. So and I know that like we created many corners, but we are working with a month. It's a whole month. Can you imagine if it would be done for a year? Like when I know that Pavel, who created this exercise, he worked with businesses, and they did the plan for the whole year. So it could be business model. It's okay, and again, like we're creating extra lines that's expanding our events and reaching to other people. We dissolving our ego in society and allow the society really to accept us as we are. Because each drawing is very beautiful, just as every person is beautiful. This exercise is actually one of my favorite. I love to play with my perception of time. And you know that sometimes when you, it's very easy to notice, like when you do the meditation, that time is really stopping. Or when you do something, like when you do art, or when you do something that you really enjoy and emotionally involved, it's time really does not exist anymore. You losing the track of time. And opposite, when you're waiting for some very drastic news or anxious, time could be very ruthless. It can be so slow that it scares. So I want for you to be very comfortable with time. I want for you to really involve your ability to recognize that time is different, and it's only your it's in your power to make it different, feel it different. So it's really graphic. Okay, so I need difference. So okay. And I will show you what I was trying to. Today I was working on the exercise, so we can do it together later. Not today, but maybe in one of the other weeks, about letting go. If it will be in what we want to let go. I was already this morning, this day, the whole day almost, I was drawing for almost whole day. I wake up usually at 7 a.m. and it's really busy till 11 p.m. I Everybody is so busy with your time. No questions? Or is it like too many of them?
Just super focused.
Okay, good.
Yeah, for me.
It's really helps you to experience and emotionally experience ahead of time what it's gonna be, and prepare yourself. So when it will be in action, in real life, it will be kind of nothing new. I've been there, it's doable, and I know that it will be resolved. So there will be much less anxiety, and it will be much easier because you trained yourself. It's like a muscle. You still be adjusting.
Yeah, I can feel the training happening. Getting used to all the energy around some of the time. It's kind of interesting.
It is. It's different quality of energy.
And this desire to like, oh, I really want to get the edges rounded because it's so, intense.
So and you see that it's a different events really attracts attention first. You know that you want to be involved in something even it could be smaller, but it's intensity that really attracts. And harmonize this one. When you will be done with something powerful, you can go to something simpler, because the priority, just pay attention to your body. Where is your body is leading you? And pay attention to your body, to your emotions, to your thoughts. And again, like if something that you did not tell you one more thing, that like if there is an event that really you know that it's need to be done, and you just hate the whole idea of doing it, you can create a shape and just do a catharsis inside of it and see how it feels. Like you will round everything, but like if you think that it's something that needs to be really transformed, there is so much pressure inside of you related to anything. Like, for example, if you want to initiate, I don't know, like what is coming to me, like you have a hearing in court, or you need to call a person that you don't feel comfortable with and you need to discuss something, you can do a catharsis inside of the event. Even if you don't know the event yet, but you feel like this has a charge and I don't really want to start rounding anything in there, do catharsis, release this tension and see how the body is changing, how you really shifting. Okay. This star really attracts my attention. It's like.
So are you saying to do that? Like, would you take one of your circles and do that right on this particular drawing, or would you create a side drawing where you just like, okay, here's that event, and now I'm doing a catharsis on it? Like, what would the approach be?
So anytime when you have a very strong resistance, when you have a lot of pressure, you are welcome to do catharsis. There is a catharsis is actually will help you to identify the size of the shape. I've seen, like we've done an exercise about relationship with mother with one of my students. And let me show you on this one, for example. And she drew her mother. so big, teeny tiny, especially compared to her size. And and she's like, I cannot go with any lines around her. Like, I don't want even touch her. So like the circle, there was a very strong pressure about it. And I asked, like, can you do the catharsis inside of the circle? And the catharsis was like this. So first of all, you see that the size of mom is really underestimated. So the next step is round the size and really recognize mom as a big figure in your life. Do you like it or you don't? It's another question. But this is the real size of her. And she was actually something like this. You see how it changed the perception. Mom is big, she is small. The whole energy shifted. And when she started just rounding this shape and expanding those lines, you can stay with lines and just round everything inside. But it's first of all, there is so much going on inside of mom, and she is bigger. So it's always, I always advise like to do catharsis if something like very resistant. The only thing that be very, very careful about catharsis when you're working with your body, like when you have the outline of your body and you exploring your body and you feel like this part, like my liver has so much pressure that I want just do catharsis there. Don't do it on the outline. Do it on a separate piece of paper and just do the catharsis and do it later to harmonize everything, but don't do it on outline because it's such a sensitive subject, and you will really absorb all this energy when you do the outline. So it's just be careful with this one. But other way, you can do catharsis anywhere, and it's actually very helpful. I don't really feel that I want to do catharsis in any of my circles, but you can do on yours. And it's
So is catharsis the same thing as what you're calling lifting constraints, or are those two separate?
so that when we do lifting inner constraints, has catharsis. This is the only exercise that has a catharsis, but we can use catharsis as an element or as a step if it's required in any other exercises. Catharsis helps us to release this overpowering energy and overpowering pressure inside of us.
So why is the liver, for example, more sensitive than somebody's mother?
Because it's not on your body.
Okay.
So body is already, there is an identification. Like when you're working with an outline, you identify yourself with the whole body. And it will be some blueprint that you will resonate with. When we have separated, like even if we work with liver, it's different. It's already segment that you just release the pressure related to the anger, because liver is about anger. It's a release pressure about certain feelings and certain emotions. Could be about certain people as well, but it's not identification with the whole body and with your health.
Thank you.
So I feel totally overwhelmed by both my Chronos and my Kairos. I'm wondering if I should just start over again, either do the catharsis thing on the side, or should I start over again and just do fewer circles? Because it just seems way too much for me. It seems like I'm so overwhelmed I can't really do much on it.
So do catharsis or just on another piece of paper. As much as you need. And sometimes you maybe even need to do it like 2-3 times. You can finish them later if you want. And maybe those catharsis are about some certain events that you involved, like put on your list. Something that really triggered, even thinking about them could trigger some strong resistance. Because so much history involved in it. And as I already mentioned to you, that really the Neurographica is not always about comfort, but there should be very clear definition between going through discomfort and going out of your comfort zone to grow, or if we want to push and force something. So I don't really ask you to force if something does not want to go. Like, stay with this and stay, just experience it. Like, yes, I'm overwhelmed. What my options? You can try to, first of all, if you're overwhelmed with your schedule on May, there's many options. You can simplify your schedule, let go something, like really just like chop it. Like, this will be overwhelming for me. I'm not ready to deal with this. In other options, you can do catharsis on the side about overwhelming and why you get overwhelmed. And the third step choice is just keep moving and keep rounding, because you could be overwhelmed with all those corners that were created on your drawing. That so much actions required, and you will just keep going. I'm doing right now, because of the coronavirus, I cannot go to volunteer where I usually go. So to kids that I'm like haven't seen already for 2 months almost, I'm creating the drawings. Like, I'm creating cards. I'll show you some of them. So like this. Very, very simple, but it's I do catharsis and just color them as I want. And there is like really several of them that I really hated at some point. I'm like, oh my gosh, I will just throw them away. They really doesn't look nice. And I don't want kids to feel not cared about them. Like, they're not signed. They will just choose. For example, this one, at some point I screwed up like big time. And I was at the point, like, I will throw away. You just need to find the right instrument for it. And again, it will be an opportunity for you to make it different. It will be different from what you expected, but it will be not less beautiful. And again, if it's too much, don't really try to do everything. Go to, again, if something, there are different people. For some people, for me, where I see the biggest pressure, the biggest energy charge, I go there. I'm like, I dive there like jumping from the cliff. And I have fun in it. For other people, if it's too much and it's too overwhelming, you have to go and find a resource first before you're going to some challenges. Go to simple elements, go to some very simple event and just collect the energy there, like really enjoy it. Like go to read your book, find the peace in it, and you will decide if it's enough for you to move forward or if it's not. And like you stay here as much as you need. You don't really need to start to working with any big challenges if you don't have the energy for it. For me, I really need to be doing this first before I go to small ones, but it could be opposite direction as well. And for me, cleaning my house could be much bigger challenge than doing a presentation on a conference. It's just different perception. I don't say that I have a messy house. No, I clean it regularly, but it's just a different energy required. And
Well, you probably find more fun at creating your presentation than cleaning your house, I would suspect.
Yes, of course, because I emotionally involved in the process. When we like in a positive way, when we emotionally involve, it could be very supporting. Emotions are different. Some of them are like really depleting our energy. Some of them really helps us and supporting us. So it's go whatever nurture you. Maybe you play some event in your line, like walk in the nature and be in peace and really don't care about the rest. It's an opportunity too. We are like right now, it's a very beautiful weather in Washington State. So it's a springtime. Give yourself a treat. I'm like, now I'm interested in this event. I'm like, you see, I'm like jumping all over the place. Everything is, I'm like very curious monkey, like George. It was the first book which was my son, older son, read by himself. I was like so much proud of him. So we know about the Curious George. Okay. So, and it's interesting, like when I start rounding all the corners, everything seems united. Everything seems in place. So there is nothing really that not connected. Everything is connected. Everything is on timeline, and I can even connect them in extra lines. So you never know what's really leading you to the big event. When I had the invitation from another volunteers to participate in correction center, it was like really a coincidence. or opportunity that I could not miss. It was a challenging opportunities for sure, and I'm sure that it's not for every person, because it's really shows what you are made of, and it could be challenging, very challenging, but it was my opportunity, not yours, not my family's, but my own opportunity that I initiated, and I recognize it as an opportunity. Like when I told a friend of mine that, oh, you know, I went to correction center to teach Neurographica, she said, like, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Because it's different energy requires. And I said, like, no, I had a blast. I really enjoyed it. And I'm a regular volunteer now. But it's only you will recognize if it's opportunity or not. This is like the whole speech was about it. Whew. Pay attention how you're breathing. Do you need some water? Do you need, if you get overwhelmed, one more thing that you can do, clap your hands over your head 3 times, very strong. So the hands will be like burning. This will help you to reset your mind. This is like good. And pay attention how you hold your feet. Are they on the ground, or you just all over the place? Do you feel present? Do you feel grounded? It's another thing that pay attention to it. Breathing exercises could be. You can breathe for a while, breathe in one nostril, breathe out another nostril, and switch. And again, it's okay to be overwhelmed when we're working with time. It's such a levels that we are going that many people don't even dare to think about possibility to work with this. It's interesting, like I'm Reiki master and I'm instructor in Kolaimni, and it's each healing modality that I crossed, each has some exercise that allows you to work with the perception of time. In Reiki, there are some symbols that represent time, and you just can work with your perception, and it's of time. And it's in Kolaimni there is like special exercise that I promised to show you today. And for our mind, it really does not matter. Like in our mind, past, present, and future exist right now. Your memories about something that was very strong for you can indicate the same reactions in your body like it's happening right now. So your mind is does not really identify very strong emotions related to past. And if you're really worried about future, it can triggers a lot of anxiety. So if you live so much in your past, it's mostly about guilt and shame. If you live in your future and worries about future, it's mostly about your anxiety. So by changing perception, we're really changing our present relationship to these events. And because we're changing our vibration as well. Like if we already lived so much, like we allowed so much emotions go through our body, we don't really need to repeat them when we experience them in life. Again, it's a muscle. Katrina, I hope, how are you doing?
Good, I'm enjoying the process.
Good.
Yeah, same here. It's good. The process is interesting to see.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different. Relationship with time. I think I see more people, and myself included, just so concerned about our schedules, and this is such a nice way to round out our schedule or something, or just make it more, change the perception. I like that idea.
And it's really even just experience to see how busy you are, how busy I'm going to be in May, helps me right now to accumulate enough energy to move forward and go through all these events that are planned. It's and it should not be, again, I'm repeating over and over myself, like it should not be overwhelming in real life if it's overwhelming here, because you already worked on some of these challenges. I'm almost done with my corners. And I'm like, this is usually, I don't usually round like this. I'm very careful and I tried to round each corner, but it's different quality and different goals that I want to achieve. I want everything be connected, integrated, and I want to have enough time to finish this work, because I don't want to stuck just on rounding. So I add more and more lines that's going to social life, to people. I reach more and more people on from my shapes. And it helps me to really, and I can even bring some events that happening around me, but not really in affecting me. Like they make my life brighter because I can witness and I can be happy for them, but they really don't requires my time or my attention. So you can create something like, for example, could be something here that I could be very happy for one of my students, for example, or maybe I don't know. Oh, no, this is already maybe small one. Something here. Some good news about my family in Russia. It really requires a lot of lines, like so many lines that involves. The whole drawing is, and it's so beautiful even without coloring, but it's complex and it's interesting. So when it's complex, it's really nice to look at it and see how it's so many details. And you have the whole night to finish it. And Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow with my Russian class, we are going to work about our relationship with pets. So if any of you is interested to do it in English, we can do it as well.
Did you say pets or past?
Pets. Your cats, dogs. Yeah.
That's awesome. Can they be deceased?
One day, yes. I'm already like creating the list what could be interesting for you. So, and some of them I'm really creating my own exercises to see, and I practice them. Like for today, I'll show you something that I was working this morning on. So this, I was working on black color, how we can work with letting go something. So this is outcome. The first draft was this one, and I did not feel like I want to do it. So this would be interesting. It could be done on black, white lines on black, or it could be done black lines on white. So it's both options.
Is that pastel or paint?
No, this is just color pencil, the same Prismacolor that I use. It's really looks nice on black paper.
Beautiful.
It just gives a sense of shading. So it's a hint of color, not very vivid colors, but it's it looks beautiful and alive. So this I tried to use a separate, different colors gel pens, and it's just a little bit overwhelming. There is no sense of unity, and it's a little bit not what I wanted. I want everything to be connected, everything to be integrated, and this is.
What brand of colored pencils do you use?
I use Prismacolor. So, and yeah, this is the only color that I use right now. I have some of the colors pencils at Faber-Castell, but they're a little bit harder than Prismacolor, and it's a Prismacolor Premier. So they're really soft and nice. like, and you don't need to buy very big set. Like I purchased some of the sets. There are some sets that has like 20 pencils and a coloring book, and I purchased them for $8. They were on some special discount on Amazon, but I have big sets as well. I have 150 pencils, which I haven't started to use yet.
Do you use like the blender? Like they have, you know, pencils that are called the blender to help you blend the colored pencil?
Actually, no. I tried, and it's I'm a lazy person. It's too much work to use 3 pencils when you can use only 2. So, oh, nice. You Kenny. Let's see. Okay, so you have your own sun as well. Nice. And I love how much lines you created out of it. And you have this very powerful circle inside, so there is a very harmonious intention. Cool. So there is a little bit bring lines from the circles as well, because the right corner, lower corner, right on your, yes, this other right. So it's a little bit empty. So give more connection. No, opposite.
Right here.
Yes, because just bring lines there, so it will be more alive and more connected to everything. So circles, right now circles only connected by timeline, but create more narrow lines so they can be connected not just chronologically, but in some kind of continuous of events. Some energy is going on. Okay.
Anna, can you show me with yours how you're dealing with those, like when you're making the circle and you have lots and lots of
okay, so when I have such lines, first of all, I can just around the segments, that big gaps between lines. So they
yeah, and there's some that still have white lines.
You can add more black between them, so they look more even, like evenly black. Another thing that
solid, like they don't have to be solid to be rounded. They can be,
yes, just shaded, like you can just make them more intense so they look unified. And another thing that you can do, for example, here I just did some sketching or some shading to even going across those lines to make evenly darkened spots. Like those are really bold and very wide rims of circles, but it just brings everything forward. Whatever we see bolder and bigger comes to us on the first to the front. I'm like,
thank you.
It will be a nightmare to round each line. So you can make more lines, or you can make lines across. This will be faster. I'm very rarely use such style of drawing, but Pavel uses it all the time. It's the only way he can draw. Like he's doing it very fast. Many lines, like thousands on one drawing. It's a little bit, even for me, it looks overwhelming or intense at least.
I can't believe it's already been over an hour and a half.
Remember, we're working with time. Yes, it's very powerful and it's very intense as well. So it's so much energy in our perception of time, and so much should be covered. Like there is some exercises that we really were dealing with different lifetimes. Like really, it's and how much you want to live, and about what you want to achieve in your lifetime. It's endless possibilities. But this is just a preview of what could be done. And if you create any of your unique exercises and want to share it with me, I will be very grateful. Or maybe just want opinion. I'm like.
So for your drawing on letting go that you decided to stop work on, is it in some ways, will you go back to that drawing, or do you sometimes just let drawings go and you don't come back to them? Or do you say to yourself, you know what, there's some challenge hidden here I'm just not ready to look at. So I won't throw out this drawing, I'm just setting it aside and I'm going to create a new one.
Okay, it's another option. Yes. So I did not have, I did not feel like I want to go back to this particular timeline, because I don't really do, no, let me take my words back. Like I did, when I worked with the exercise about different lives, I came back and I made it more beautiful as I wanted. But it's not with this particular, when I have the very like chronological experience, I did not come back. So just because I did not feel I need it. You can, it's like any other drawings, you can feel if you need to come back, please do so. There is no really limitations about. I want to show you drawing. Yeah, this is my drawing about different lives. This, you see, so much going on. Again, many lines, because it's such subject, just requires so much energy.
That's really beautiful.
I love
So is that different lives in this lifetime, or different lives in terms of other lifetimes, if you believe in reincarnation of the soul, kind of different?
Yes, yeah, it's about reincarnation.
Okay.
And you can, and it's an interesting perception that really you can make perception of your future life, like you don't have enough in this one, or you can find a peace and harmony in what happened in your past life. So many people believe that so much karma we're carrying on. And it was interesting in my perception when I was drawing this particular drawing. At some point, it felt like they exist at the same time, just at different levels. I had a very clear image about it, like almost like a vision, which was like really blowing my mind. But and I just like experienced it.
Jane Roberts, she's written like the Seth material, and she was considered really way out back in the 70s or something like that. She talks about like an oversoul and we're living all these lifetimes simultaneously. So that might be something you might be interested in reading, if that is something you're interested in.
Okay, so I feel like I'm already weird enough. Okay.
Anna?
Yes.
Ever since I drew this one on here, my right ankle is like almost like hit a nerve.
Ah, okay. So
how can I make that stop?
how you can make it stop? Explore it. Like bring more lines. Maybe it's do you feel like it wants to be bigger? Do you feel it wants to be just
more connected, maybe?
More connected to something. It could be a person as well that is just show up in your life. It's you really don't give any estimation because you don't know what is showing up at the end of May for you. But because it's a circle, you can charge it as a positive event for you, something that you will recognize as a harmonious and safe for you. So the
pain has stopped.
Good. Really lines, and you knew the answer. Like you really knew the answer that like I want to do like more lines. Trust your intuition, what you really experiencing. Some event will happen at the beginning of May that will be interesting. And it's about May 4th. Maybe they will just announce that we'll stay one more month in our social distance. Okay, I think it's a busy month already, so I don't really want to do anything else. And you know what it's, again, I'm like, don't want to guess, but I have even already my mind trying to make any sense what this event could be. What is this one? So I just will let it go and allow it to happen. And I know that it will be safe for me, and I will be connected to it somehow. Okay, so next step, as always, I already added enough lines that I'm satisfied with my drawing, like with the composition of my drawing. And next, what I'm going to do, I start to color it. And I want to color first this beautiful star or maybe sun that is shining here. So that it wants to be shining. Some of my pencils are so small already, it does not even fit in the sharpener. Not these ones, but some of them. Again, even with color, I make it even brighter. So it's not, I really don't want it to be missed. So keep coming. I will let you know if something has happened. You will be first who knows. Interesting. Can I expand the color? I'm already with all these lines. I'm like so energized that even coloring is like very active. There's nothing gentle today. Everything is about energy and power. Pink is coming. Everything's so bright. I'm like a child happy now. I don't know about you, but I'm like, when I start coloring, it's a happy baby with a coloring book, my own coloring book. It's really not a star, it's a sun, my sun. And because sun and sun look sounds very similar, maybe this event will be related to my son. Not his birthday, but maybe it's about his internship that he is starting at this time. Okay, And it's interesting how on this drawing, it's this event, but it's really highlights what is happened in past. Like this, so many connections to the past and to the future, that really there is no limitations, that no future cannot make brighter the past. Yes, it can. I can see it on my drawing, and it's really, you can tell me whatever you want. I believe right now that my future can make my past brighter somehow. It's interesting concept, but it is. My belief system right now is more important than any logical explanations. If I believe, everything is possible.
Notice on this drawing, you have some, they almost look like plant roots. You're not taking the lines all the way down to the edges of the paper. Is that where in most of the other exercises, all the lines seem to go to the ends of the paper. This one you have some, and some of your other drawings I noticed too, you've shown us, they're not going all the way to the end.
So yes, most of the time I use by the edge of the paper. It's really representing how we want to be connected to other people. And even on this one, most of them are connected to the edge. But the bottom is, for me, it's just indication that I'm reaching out to other people. That motion, the reach that I'm going toward them is enough for me. And if I will frame this drawing, it really depends on the frame, and everything could be connected to the edge if it will be cut, like if the frame will be a little bit smaller. So it's in my perception, it's reached to the edge enough to show that I'm connected to society. Okay, what will be the next? Next will be peak. I hope I answered the question. So especially in lifting inner constraints, I really pay attention if people avoiding edges, like if they really don't, they're very cautiously avoiding to cross the edge. They can go around, but not really touching. It's an indication that they don't reach to other people or have difficulties to ask for help. So this could be indication. Wait, my computer is giving me some messages that battery may die any moment. Okay, now I see why. Okay, good. We are ready to go. Okay, let's do more magic. I'm like really drawing myself a fairy tale about May. And it's gonna be bright. And I don't know, like I didn't do such drawing about April, but April was already a very interesting month for me. So much happened. I have a question for you. During the quarantine, all this isolation time, did you, what kind of, what did you learn new? Have you experienced something new this month that you will, that you feel benefits?
Neurographica.
Good. Anything else? You have a gold star. Besides Neurographica, what else?
I learned how much time alone that I like and what my limits are. And when I start freaking out and getting antsy, that I have the tools to come back to my center through meditation or listening to a favorite spiritual teacher or inspirational reading, good book. I'm enjoying more time alone than I ever have before.
Good. It's like really learning yourself and nurturing yourself. It's a very, very good skill to learn and have such opportunity. Anything else?
I would agree with what's said. I would also add, I'm amazed at Zoom. Like, you know, no other generation has had Zoom to connect during a time of, you know, such a challenging time. And I've been amazed at how intimate it can be on Zoom in terms of what people share, what people are doing. It's just, I mean, what a gift.
Yes, yeah. And I believe the Zoom people are not bored right now. Like they work very hard.
Yes.
I actually, during the coronavirus, I learned so much about technology. I learned how to use Zoom. I learned how to use Zoom and go live on Facebook. I learned other software that I used to go live on Facebook. I learned about YouTube. I learned, I've redone my, what else? I forgot about my website, some features that I learned how to easy can be done. So I'm like really was not so much in technology. Even I have a master's degree in computer science, but it was like a long time ago, and there was no such software at that time. It's interesting. I have when I was in university, my parents were not so rich, and I had master degree without computer. So there was no computer in my house when I was learning how to write code. It was a challenge.
Wow. I also learned how to paint with watercolors.
Good, nice.
A long time.
Watercolors are very like there are people who love watercolors, and there are people who hate to draw watercolors because it's
difficult.
The color is challenging. It's so alive that like you there's always opportunity to something go different, not what you expected at the beginning. I'm glad you had an opportunity to work with this, and hopefully you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's very hard to control. So in art therapy, it's not something you would want to give like a kid that's having trouble with boundaries and stuff. That would freak out. The last thing you want to give them is clay and watercolor, because those are the hardest mediums to control.
Mm. I'm right now attending the very interesting course, how to use Neurographica with kids. It's in Russian and in Institute of Psychology of Creativity. And we're really working a lot on our own inner child.
Yeah.
So much to learn and so many techniques to experience on ourselves. Like, so the more I learn, the more childish I have become. And I'm like, right now, even I'm so excited about coloring with all this bright colors. I'm like, I don't care, they don't really exist in the nature, but it's I want them. It's my fairyland. There is no limitation there. What I want. There is no limitation in my fairyland. I can manifest anything there.
Thank goodness for creativity, for artistic license.
It's really about dreaming. Like even the Martin Luther King, his speech was about, I have a dream. It's of course he had a plan as well, but it's about allowing yourself just go beyond the logic and beyond the boundaries, and say that you allowed to dream sometimes is enough. Dreams are very powerful energy and tools.
Absolutely.
Have you ever experienced like when you don't know, are you dreaming or everything is happening in real time?
Yes.
It's like I have sometimes very vivid color dreams, and you kind of not lost, but you experiencing it so strong that it's really, there is no limitations. Okay, so I want to make...
Sometimes I'll remember those dreams and think it's something that happened in real life.
I have quite often dreams when people come to me and like have a hardship and they like crying, and I just hugging them. Next morning I usually call them or just even texting them like, are you okay? And like, what are you, how did you know I'm like going through the difficult times? Like, you know, you came to me. I did not invite it. But it's interesting, like really feel connected to people. In dreams we can be really experiencing this beautiful connection to not just to people but to the nature, to animals. So there is so much in dreams that we don't allow ourselves to experience in real life. Okay, this will be this one. It's interesting. It's such a complex subject, and there is a chance we can finish it on time. I'm usually running late with my classes, but it's
I'm still rounding my corners, but I'm almost done.
Good. Enjoy. Don't rush yourself. It's really the when we filled with force to do something very fast, it's the point where the joy is missing. So it's so slow down and just take care of yourself. Take care of each corner, and the more you really round, the less you have to deal with conflict in your May.
Yeah, can I tell you what I've done so far?
Wait, let me find you. Yes.
Oh, let me get some light.
Wow, it's a very interesting. You have an infinity sign in one of them.
Hold on, I'm trying to get some light on the subject here.
Okay, so first of all, what I want to tell you that there is a lot of connection between events, and not so many when you're really reaching out to the society. So there is a beautiful way for this, how to say, this plant, this beautiful branches. They are very powerful, like, and I want you to have this sense of reaching to other people, because you see, like on the right corner, upper corner, on the opposite from the plant, when you try to reach to other people and you stop yourself. So try to expand those lines a little bit farther, like a little bit. Don't stay so
Linear.
like, no, don't limit yourself. Just be with one-on-one with, like, because so you see how much is going on. Even if it will be joyful events, there is always a desire to share with somebody.
Yes.
Joy wants to be shared, pain need to be shared. So don't afraid to reach out to other people. And it's interesting, this egg, everything, it's the timelines that you have really look like, you know, there used to be watches on the beautiful chain, that a pocket watch.
Yes.
You have this sense that like everything is a pocket watch.
I noticed that I doubled my timeline. I wasn't thinking.
But I love how bold it is. I love how bold it is. So you're really aware of it, that like you have enough time for everything. So the only concern or advice I have, that like reach more to other people, because you have so much to share. You see how much beautiful events in your life. So don't be greedy. Share with other people your joy.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm like, so much energy is pumping through my body now. I'm like, let me see. I believe this is an event that, like, this class will be repeated on Wednesday. Maybe next on Wednesday I will work on my June because it's already May is nice, and you can try to do it for the whole year. But for the whole year, of course, you will need bigger size. You can do like A3 size. I know that I use like European measures for the paper, but it's easier for me. And you always can just glue several piece of papers together with scotch and see the scotch tape, and just expand it, because when we did with Pavel, we did 2 months together, but so much is going on right now. I'm really feel like 1 month will be enough to plan, because so much changes, and it's already and I'm glad that I did only 1 month for myself, because 2 months would be a little bit too much, too many events. And I'm like, wonder why is the astrology shows up? I'm like, really don't know. Maybe I will have a note from them that they say like, you need to finish. There is no delay. Okay, so that's beautiful. There is a whole movement now that calls neuro art, where you can integrate some principles of Neurographica with any art method that you can practice, and just combination, just classical painting or ink paintings, like with lines of neuro lines, could be very interesting, and like they always brings the attention, because it's so organic and unusual. It's interesting, like it's organic, it's natural, and it still be unusual somehow. So just Google and see like neuro art, and you will be amazed what people can do with those simple principles. And if you want to practice, you're welcome. Just use some neuro lines in your drawings. You'll see how different effect it will create.
Where did Neurographica originate?
It's from Russia. The creator is Pavel Piscarev. He just on April 29th, we celebrated 6th birthday. So it's a fairly new modality, and it's already many people use it and feel effect of it. He did his he received his doctor degree in psychology based on this method, so it's recognized as a science. Like it's registered in scientific in the list of science subjects, because there is some regular confirmed cases, so many cases that repeating effects. So
Very cool.
It's cool, really. Like for psychological, anything that's involves psychology, it's very almost impossible to confirm anything, because so much changes, like so many variables. I don't know how he did it, but it was done last year, so over a year already. It's There is a star that named Neurographica. So somebody gave him a present. I think it's his students just named a star with Neurographica. Okay, one more event and I will be done. I'm so happy with my drawing somehow. Really. And I really wanted to start even more shine. I'm like feeling like I'm going to sing. Yay. So, the whole list, I have like 12 things to do this month and it makes me happy. We'll see on May 31st if I will be barely alive, but it's right now I'm excited and this is what matters. Yes, my sun is shining, makes everything brighter. I want everything there. Yeah. It looks different on the screen, but it's not less beautiful. Okay, okay, one more event need to be colored. And what kind of color I want for this event? Like, it will be gentle pink, baby pink, peach color. Blush pink. We'll see what will be about this blush pink. Okay, so next step, we still want to synchronize our plan with the universe. We still need to add field lines, that we want to be connected to the world, to the divine plan. We want to be connected to, and really for the opportunity, you need to act very fast. The god of Kairos, he has one lock of hair on his head that if you fast enough, you can grab it. So this is the story. So we need to be at the right time, at the right place, and we need to act fast enough. to use our chances. Yeah, just to use our chances, opportunities. Really coloring. I thought that the rounding was so excited because so many lines was there, but rounding really would awaken a child in me. I'm like, it's interesting, completely different experience when you draw or do a drawing and still explaining what you experience. Like, I'm usually very quiet when I'm drawing, and I'm like so concerned about colors that saying it's out loud, it's like really emphasizing everything, make everything even more, everything moves faster. Okay, so what I want to do some field lines. Field lines again. It will be different lines, not the timeline that originally we did. So it's just lines. They can be bolder, but not overpowering bolder. You can be very gentle with them. They just need to be different. They just need to be noticeable. And they really gives you a sense of structure and direction. And one more thing that about kairos. In the modern Greek, it translated as a weather. So it's really forecasting where you can be. Oh, one more thing that I remembered, like my husband's favorite movie is Back to the Future. And it's really amazed me how much was not exactly happened, but so many things that really happened. It's so somebody was dreaming. What was 80s when the movie was made, and it's and I believe that we already passed the time that where they traveled, but it's still be so much has happened. Especially like when in the movie, you remember the joke when they forecasted the weather? It's almost happened. Like forecast for weather is like very accurate now.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It was hard to believe. And post office really working accurately. Like they deliver almost always on the day when they promise. It sometimes happens differences, but it's so we need to dream more. So more things will happen in the future. Okay, I've done my field lines. I already, so I'm talking so much they forget all words. And you can choose which object, which element, which event from your drawing is the most important. Do you want to make it brighter? Do you want to make it more noticeable? So my event is my star, my sun, that is really very bright, and I don't feel like I want to make it more brighter. Don't want to. I feel enough. I feel enough. And how do you feel about your time? Are you excited about May? Are you still be overwhelmed about May? So I'm so excited. I'm like, really, let it happen. It will happen no matter what, but I want to experience all those events that really I already imagined. And we still have some time for the exercise that I promised to you. Look at me. I'm growing, so I'm already watching time, and I'm like keeping my promises. It's unusual. I use so many colors in this drawing. I usually use only few. See how small my pencils are? I have even smaller ones. These dry highlighters, I'm like really cannot use them enough this year. Whew.
What are they? Dry highlighters?
Yes, it's a Stadler. It's a German company. Let me see if I can find bigger ones.
Is it like a colored pencil?
It's a highlighter that you can use for Bible. That they don't have alcohol ink. Like it's just a pencil, and they're very good at blending, and they're very bright. And there are two things that you should be aware that they require bigger hole for sharpening. Like this is the Stadler sharpener, so the bigger one will fit. And they soft, so the lid can be broken easily. So sometimes you sharpen, and if something went wrong, it will be broken and you need to sharpen it again. So, but I prefer them to the ink ones. I have a big set of the regular highlighters, and I use them sometimes, but I prefer dry ones. So. Okay, I've done with my drawing, and it's like very challenging for me to stop adding anything like I'm doing right now. so I still want you to learn this simple exercise, and you can actually like it will require only a few minutes. It's not very difficult. And you can do it anytime, anywhere. It's very simple, and you'll just try and see how it's working for you or not. So this is what I learned from the healing modality that's called Kolaimni. Kolaimni means connecting to the healing light. It was channeled by Michi Garza in 1983. It was 5 years of channeling, actually.
Can you spell that?
Kolaimni, let me spell it. Wait. Kolaimni. Kolaimni. Connecting to the healing light. There is a website, my teacher's website, kolaimni.info. I have one, but it's in Russian. I have my own website, but it's in Russian. You can use Google Translate if you want to challenge yourself. Okay, so the exercise, do you want to know?
Yes. What is it again?
One more question? So the exercise is about how to slow down time. How, if you're rushing to some meetings and you're running late and you know that there is no way you can be on time, how to slow down the perception of time. So if you can, just for the exercise, we are not going to do it for very long time, but it's just close your eyes. Just breathe in, deep breathe in and breathe out. Extend your right hand, so with the palm looking down. And you may visualize the mountain river is running under your arm. The water is just running. You don't really touching the water. It's just moving very fast. And there is so much going on. And you bringing your intention that you can slow it down. You can slow the mountain river. You don't stop it. You just a little bit slow it down. And with the energy that is going from your hand, from your palm, the river becomes slower and slower. It may take some time, but just stay with this. And you can even see where it was running and rushing and crushing everything on its way. And after your hand, it's become calmer. It's still be moving, but it's peaceful and it's a happy river without any disturbance. It's just moving slower. And your emotions could be the same way. They could be visualized as a overwhelming mountain river, and you can have the power with your intention and with your energy from your hand, with your palm, slow them down as well. Whenever you feel that river is slow enough and you feel calmer, we can move forward and just go wherever we need it to be. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. You don't really need to close your eyes. Like this is just for the beginning, but if you practice it several times, to visualize, you don't need to close your eyes. It happens inside of your head somehow. And it's very easy and it's really working. It's not even that what I've experienced most of the time, that when I'm rushing for the important appointment, and I know that there is no way that I will be on time. I come and I'm calm when I come, and the person that the appointment is getting behind, so or just arrived before me. So there is no apologizing that like, oh sorry, I'm so late. So it's really about being late but be on time. So this is my experience, and it's it's simple. So
I actually felt like my my neck release, like several of my vertebrae in my neck released during that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and I wasn't
so much
moving my
pressure.
neck. No,
So because it's water is always representing our emotions as well. So if and neck is like, if you feel so much on your shoulders, it could be stressed. So if you
it was very gentle. It was very gentle, very, very, not like a pop, but just like a very mild adjustment.
You are like really manifesting a lot.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Anna, I'm on a journey.
Good. I'm like so happy to hear it, that like it's really what the point is of all these classes, to witness miracles in my students. This is what really inspire me. And this
I
is
don't
what
plan on slowing down anytime soon either.
my son, will be what my son representing. Be inspired and inspire others as well. So thank you for sharing. It's like very, very helpful. Any questions? Anybody wants to share their drawings? We still have some few minutes. Okay, look at you. Everything is so colorful. And
Shocker, I know.
and it's interesting how this in the very the highest circle that you have, it's really sitting on the timeline. Or is it like still be some kind of connected and a field line go through it as well?
Yeah, that was the last one that I put in at the end that I didn't.
Where you had the sensations in your body?
Yeah.
And it's, look how bright it is. It's very...
I thought it looked like a ladybug, so.
Very feminine.
Ladybugs show up for me a lot.
Something they try to tell you.
Yeah. Oh, they take your burden, right? So been very helpful when I see them. It's very I even have a picture of one on my forehead right here.
Ah, really?
Yeah. I actually ended up, I didn't know it, but I got intuitively, I ended up at the park right as there was a migration of ladybugs.
Wow, There
They
should be
were
many of them.
everywhere. There were like 5 of them on me at once.
Wow.
It's interesting experience to be so attuned with the nature.
Yeah.
So I love how everything is colorful, like it's really colorful. And this beautiful sun really gives this highlight and how it's reaching to everything and not just to other events, but to other people as well. So how do you feel about your May?
I feel really good. And I even took the color and brought the color out too.
Yes. And you
To
can even do like expand the color in all this when you have this connections. Like you can see it. Yes, like here you can expand even more colors, make it like more powerful and nurture everything with this beautiful yellow and orange and maybe pinkish colors. Like make it bright and don't shine. Allow it to shine.
Yeah.
Because everything that we're drawing today is not just about events that are going to be to happen to us, but it's about us as well. How much do we allow ourselves to experience? How much do we allow ourselves to be part of the life? Like how much we allow ourselves to live, actually. Okay, any other questions? Any other comments? I'm like, where's my hair? It's like, let's miss, because on camera it's mirrored and I'm like so easily to get distracted. Which way my hair goes? Oh, now, yes, now I'm fine. Okay, so anyone wants to share? Okay. Wow. This is what I meant when like I want you to be connected. You see how you organically connecting to everybody. How do you feel? How do you like it to be connected?
Yes, it was definitely not my inclination, and it feels really good. Feels really powerful.
And notice that you have this beautiful leaves and branches, but you can add some flowers as well. Flowers will represent already some fruition of connection. It's not just reaching, but it's reaching on a different sense. Like there is a fragrance, gentle fragrance of each flower. That what kind of, and it's like just affecting differently when you allow yourself to bloom in front of other people. So play with this because you're very good at integrating all this beautiful art into your drawing. And like I'm a little bit jealous, but it's okay. We always have something to learn.
It is beautiful. Gorgeous.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you. I take that as
Okay.
All right.
I
Anna,
still need some light. I don't see you in your cave.
yeah, we got a light issue.
Wow, you have.
Let's see here. Oh. Okay, we'll get a light.
Okay, so you have a lot of colors. I'm like really, and it's interesting. Like, wow, so many connections. Like it's you. You are all over the place. It's interesting how you can. How do you feel about it? Do you feel that this is what you want? Do you feel, because I love how many connections you have.
Yeah, I mean, I like being connected, I guess, and it sort of, it was a little intense at the beginning, but once I got everything rounded, it seemed I was kind of good with it.
Another
Yeah.
thing that like I want to mention that like notice that how many some of the events, there's so many lines around it. I believe you just underestimate the value of those events. And you can actually make them even bigger, and they will be, you still have connections, but they will be just by like a ripple effect, like all this, when you throw a stone and rock, and it will be so many waves of connections on different levels, because of some events are very powerful. And the pink ones, like they really look like beautiful roses, so much unwaving and opening. So it still be a little bit close, but something is going on. How do you feel? One more question. How do you on your, where you have the hand, exactly at that point, you have this green circle with pink surroundings. How do you feel about it?
The green circle. Oh, right there. Oh, yeah. Uh, it seems like it was just accentuating something, and there's something there. I'm not sure what, but it is a strong point right there.
Mm-hmm.
So more emotion around that area.
I bet it is. It
Yeah.
brings attention. So how do you feel towards this pink? Do you feel it's protecting, or do you feel it's limiting, constraining?
It's a little bit of almost like a little bit of both. It feels like it's in those areas. There's a lot of energy coming, and a lot of internal energy that needs to be released. And doing those activities that I have to do cause a lot of anxiety or internal, I guess, pressure.
Okay, so notice that this pink looks like it's curled around green, but it's not really locked. So if you allow yourself, there is a some room that you can allow this green color that representing usually healing and kindness. It's really opening your heart. Allow itself, like leak through the like through the curve around you, like through the white or the red,
yeah,
and just feel around some, like support it with green around it. I like how much green on top of it. Allow it some green on the bottom of it as well.
Okay.
And it's interesting, like you have so many colors, but everything is in a flow. You have this big, beautiful waves of colors, and how beautiful blue is just going through the whole picture from lower corner to the upper corner, and it really gives the sense of river, emotional maybe river, but it's flowing. There is nothing stagnated. The only stagnations is a little bit about this green circle, but it's still there. I love how much motion and emotions you have on your picture. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback. That's great. I like that. Yeah, that'll be nice to shade that in. All right, well, let's get Trish up here. Yeah, go for it.
I'm not. Mine is just still in progress, but
it's okay. Okay. So we have all these golden eggs.
Yeah.
And a beautiful star. I'm like really again, it's so much going on in your life. Like your May will be some busy ones. There will be a lot of communication, and maybe many words will be spoken. So it's up to you what kind of colors you want to use. I'm really wondering how you will implement colors, but this beautiful star is really the point where that it gives a sense of shining, and so many lines. I'm like, so many lines.
So many lines, yeah. I'm finding it interesting just noticing like that this is where my eyes went to first, because my intention for these when I was making it was journeying, like journeying each week. So for me, it's just helping to clarify like, oh, that's important. Like my attention went there without me remembering what those were, and then thinking like, oh, that's important. So I really liked that process of clarification.
Yes, I love how how you attuned, and I love how different sizes you have, like small, very big ones and very small, and everything has the opportunity to be acknowledged and really have a place on your timeline. Like I'm like looking forward to see when it will be done.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Interesting. You always have very creative about coloring, and I love how you're really blending the colors. It's a
thank you. Okay.
Pleasure to see. Okay. Anyone else? Catherine, are you going to email me your drawing?
Yeah, I'll email you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Wow, 21:00. I'm like, Russian use the military time all the time, so 2100.
Right on time.
Right on time. So it's a good example that timeline is working. So see you on next Friday or on Wednesday if you want to work on another timeline, and you can work on the whole year if you dare, or maybe implementing 2 months together, like May and June, or just June. So it's up to you. If you have any birthdays coming, so like in May, if you have any May birthdays, you can really do timeline for your year, like for 12 months since your birthday, and just plan what could be experienced during the year. So I'm so happy to see you as well, and so happy to see your beautiful drawings and witness your deep emotional, transformative sometimes experiences. And it's very pleasure to be connected to you on such an intimate level. So if you have any questions, you always know how to reach me, and let me know. And again, if you have a list of subjects that you want to work on, let me know, because I'm giving you what really attracts my attention and changed my life, but maybe something that is very important for you that I'm open to work with. And if there is no such exercise yet, I will invent one. So we will experimenting with this, and I'll take all responsibilities. So have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you,
much.
Anna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.